Just go by MIFA. That's what I was thinking.
Already played earlier in the year.
Well, Detroit Prowl coming in with a 1-2 record, and they got to win some games big here. They got 3 straight home games in order for them to get back into the playoff run. They're going to have to run this table here. They're going to have to win all 3 games here. So, it's going to be tough. They're going to have to win these 3 games. 1-2 on the road. They beat the MIFA All-Stars. I think that game was 19-0 on the road. So they got to start at 1 game at a time and get back into it. Champs last year, champs the year before, it's going to come down to the O-line and the D-line again. Like every game in football, the O-line and the D-line.
Well, Coach Mike Vitale for the Prowl was earlier discussing about the new offense, and it's going to take time to, I'm sure, get these players in there. And we're going to do a short pause as they're doing the Canadian National Anthem, and we'll be right back. And there we're back, and as we were discussing earlier, the MIFA team from the Toronto area All-Stars, and with the, as I was discussing, with the new offensive scheme that Coach Mike Vitale for the Prowl have, Frank, I'm sure it's going to take them a little, with some new personnel, a little time to get used to it.
Absolutely. They're coming off back-to-back championships. Week 1, they went to Lansing, lost 35-0. That was a learning process right there. They went over to MIFA in Mississauga and won 17-0. And then 2 weeks ago, they lost to Carolina 13-6 on the road. So here they stand 1-2. Like I said earlier, they got to take 1 game at a time, improve on their game, and it starts tonight against MIFA All-Stars.
And a big part of the offensive scheme for the Prowl is going to be quarterback Allie Gorsica. She is the returning veteran. She has been starting pretty much all the Prowl games since they've been in existence. And Gorsica, the veteran of the team, leadership skills, still has to learn the new offensive scheme. And what are you expecting from her tonight, Frank?
Well, I look for a big game out of her. She's ready to go. I didn't actually get a chance to talk to her, but she looks like she's ready to go, focused, and ready to play the game.
And for the MIFA All-Stars, again, the team from Toronto, you have, the travel aspect to it. You get a little hyped up. You're on a worldwide broadcast live. What are the keys for them in order to get zoned in?
Now, let's first start with MIFA. It stands for Mississauga Indoor Football Association, and it's the MIFA Longhorns from Ontario, Toronto, Mississauga. So that's everybody wonders, what's the MIFA? So that's the breakdown on that. And we'll see what kind of game. This is a road game for them. They played Detroit tough there in that shutout. It wasn't a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. 17-0, as you see both teams at the center field mark there at the 50-yard line. Looks like they're setting up for who's kicking off and the return.
Well, what's a MIFA with you, right? Is that maybe? No?
I'm a MIFA.
Yeah, you're a MIFA. I wonder, are they using what quarter, Canadian or American? For $50 is it that they're using? That's another one that
You'll have to go down there at halftime and find out
Have to
exactly.
find out from the coach on that one. But we're getting ready to start with the kickoff here. Again, the weather conditions here, outdoor arena. Earlier, the wind was blowing from our vantage point here in the booth across the field, and that could I saw a little bit earlier some of the practice stuff. I don't want to give the schemes away, but I did see quite a few screen pass schemes for the Prowl.
Absolutely. The wind's going to play a part in this game. It's a good, strong wind at times. Looks like it has died down a bit. That's going to play in the game of the passing game for each team, whichever way they're going. So we'll see right here on the kickoff how these teams are going to play this game. Are they going to have a ground game? Or they're going to go with an air game? They're going to mix it up? Talking about the Detroit Prowl, they got this game against the MIFA All-Stars on May 10th. They take on Lansing Legacy right here in Allen Park, and then their final home game of the season, 5-17, against the Carolina Tigers, as they lost that tight game 2 weeks ago in Carolina, 13-6.
And as we get set for the kickoff, the Prowl will be kicking off to, in the dark blue, will be kicking the ball off to the away team, the MIFA All-Stars, the Rhinos. Is that what they were called? What is it called?
Longhorns.
The Longhorns. Again, first game here, trying to get the team names all correct here.
But I do like that nickname, though. The Rhinos.
Horns the horn. They both got long horns, right? For sure. And we'll see who's going to be the bigger animal in this contest here as we get set. Welcome to the home opener for the Detroit Prowl here on Go Live Sportscast. Get your favorite beverage. Clock. They need a clock.
We're stuck at 6:12. It's been that way.
You need a clock, guy.
6:12, and we're going to get the clock adjusted here. If you're watching it on GoLiveSportscast.com, you could be watching it on TCL, YouTube, Roku. If you got a TCL TV outside the United States, you can tune this in. Those people in Canada. Also, you can tune it in on YouTube or Roku. Some people say Roku. It's actually Roku with the W silent. We're about got our clock adjusted here, Tommy. I think we're ready for a kickoff. Brought in our clock specialist for this one. Going to have to adjust the scoreboard at the Mark England field. I hope I pronounced that right. Eglin. There you go. It's the old-fashioned Mark with the C, not the K. M-A-R-C. Could have put an O on there and made it Marco.
These players getting all set to go.
Talking about the season, here's how the playoffs go. 5:31 will be the wild card round. Divisional round will be 6:14. Conference championship this year is on the June 28th, and then the Big Emerald Bowl in Charlotte, North Carolina is set for July 12th of this year. Still dancing with some numbers here as the teams are on the field ready for the kickoff. The anticipation, there it is.
And achieved there up to the 40, missed one tackle. Around spins out to the 45 where the MIFA All-Stars will start here, 1st and 10.
Well, it was kind of like a bow shot there with the kickoff. Didn't go far, just to the outside the 40-yard line, maybe the 40, right at the just before the 45-yard line. And MIFA will take this ball and put it in play here. We're going to see what they've got set up here. As I said at the beginning of the broadcast, it's going to come down to the O-line and the D-line.
Backs up, takes a look around, spins out, little fake there, gets pressure, tosses it up, and that's almost picked off first play. Heavy pressure there on the rush.
Well, that offensive line couldn't hold the Detroit Prowl D-line. They were coming hot and heavy, putting the pressure on the quarterback, and that's what happens.
Rachel Vez, the QB, feeling the pressure. Second down. Same set. One back. Fake. Play action. Oh, handed off to the fullback. She's met immediately at the line and dropped for a short loss.
D-line right now showing big things for Detroit Prowl. Early in the game, just got stuffed at the line of scrimmage there. No gain. 2nd and 10 or 3rd and 10 now.
Carla Castilla did not have any time whatsoever, and that's what the Prowl want to do. Set up their defensive prowlness first, and it's worked. Now drop back in the gun. Vez receives it. Vez looking around. She's pressured. She spins away from one. There's tossed out, and that's incomplete. 3rd down.
There's that pressure again on the QB coming from Detroit Prowl. A good defensive stand there as they're going to make the MIFA team here punt.
Natalie Thompson just was out there in the flat, and the ball just a little underthrown by Vez. And
well, you're seeing right now Detroit Prowl and their D-line defense, they're ready. MIFA's going to have to think about some things here. 3 and out, unless they're going for it on the 45-yard line.
Wind could play a factor here, and maybe that's the decision too. No, it looks like they look like is Vez the
could be something up the sleeve here.
Oh, fumbled there. The ball still loose. Bodies collide. Prowl receive it. They jumped on that loose ball, was squirming around there amongst players, and 32.
Well, the snap was pretty clean, just went off the punter's hand. There's no excuse for that. And the Prowl just jumped on that one, being at 4th down, so they'll take that ball here early going in the MIFA end. Got a player down on the knee off that last play. She's up and going to go to the sidelines, I would think here, number 77 for MIFA.
Deja Adams was jumped on that loose ball for the Prowl as
number 32 for the Prowl.
Jasmine Hamilton.
Getting that ball on that snap where the punter just couldn't keep the hands on that one. Kind of like a fall day weather here today. It's a cool, breezy, and need some stickum on those hands.
We'll see if we are able to see any of the plays that Coach Vitale spoke about earlier here that he was going to pull out of the bag of offensive tricks. Coach Vitale, of course, had his time in the NFL camps with the Oakland Raiders as a quarterback, and we'll see how his offense comes out in these weather conditions early here, Frank.
Mike Vitale, he's got a plan for everything. He's got all the rings to match that up, too. He's got him on his hands. He's working on his feet now, toes.
Yeah, he is. That's for sure. Here we go. Gorsica already back in the shotgun. Takes a look around, rolls to the left a little bit. There's a flat. One move. Nice spin. Rattle around, rolls around for a couple more. She's still fighting there and almost close to the first down sticks. Good 9 on that.
Just a little screen to the outside. Nobody there to cover the Prowl player. Picked up a 9-yard gain, maybe 2nd and 1.
I've seen that play a little bit. They were working on it an awful lot during their warm-ups, and just like that, the first come right out of there in a good 8. 2nd down and 2 here. Ball on the 32-yard line of MIFA. Gorsica hands it off. There's room up the middle and drives the pile 5 yards after the contact. That'll be a first down for the Prowl.
Big hole there to the left of the offensive line. The offensive line just had a big push right off of that they gained enough to get that first down.
Back again. Samiel off one. She met quite a few pink jerseys there, but she still wiggles for a couple.
Looks like she got 3 or 4, possibly 5 on that one. So it looks like we have a 2nd and 5.
Stramiel, again, the primary back in this offense for Coach Vitale. He's had a strong season so far. 2nd down and about 4.5. Gorska takes a look, yells out some signals. It looks like they jumped on the right side. Stramiel handoff. She rolls for about 2.5.
We got no flags on the field, so that play will stand. Still short of the first down. This is a 3rd down play here for the Prowl.
That was a pretty good count on that cadence from Gorsica. I mean, almost had him in the backfield. I'm surprised. I thought for sure that was an offsides, but hey, that's why they're down there and we're up here. 3rd down and short, and now there's a flag.
Possibly too many players on the field, or a procedure call, offsides.
Oh yeah, maybe someone just happened to jump before they were set, and just any little movement, contact with the defense, and it backs them up 5 years. Was it legal substitution? Legal substitution against the Prowl, and that backs them up 5 yards, makes it 3rd and 6. Gorska hands off to Stramiel. She takes a look around off the left side. She's through a couple tackles. Not enough for the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and about 2.
Well, quick handoff there. She went to the left side of the field here, just couldn't get the afterburners on to turn that corner, and we're down to a 3rd down play here.
So interesting call here. You got 4th down. Little too.
Is this 4th down or 3rd down?
It's 4th down. And here we got Gorsica. Goes to the shotgun. Back on either side. Stramiel with it. Around inside. Cuts it. Close to the first down. She dives the extra effort and makes the first down. A beautiful solo effort by Stramiel. She caught the hole in that last-ditch effort. Crossed her propelled her over the first.
They got the first down. It just went to the right of the offensive line. She cut in and pushed it over the first down line marker there.
And with flag on the play, we'll bring that back. So we got a false start. Brings them back again, and it doesn't matter about Coach Vitale's 4th down now and a little bit longer, and he says, hey, you know what? We made it on that last one. We got the flag. Let's try this.
He's got the Dan Campbell mentality.
That's right. Same formation here. 2 receivers split. Back to Stramiel. She'll try the same play, same spot. Inside the guard. Dives again, close to the sticks, and not far enough for the first down, and the Prowl will turn the ball over on downs.
They went with the same running play there, looking to work that again, just about a half a yard, maybe a yard short of that first down, and MIFA will take over on downs.
So very interesting call.
Big defensive stand there by MIFA to hold off the Prowl on the scoreboard, and we're still at 0-0.
Fez takes a look, single back, hands it off through the line, only good for a couple.
Well, the D-line stood up there. They got a couple yards, MIFA. That'll be their first yards of the game offensively. Trying to work that offensive unit on the ground game. I think the D-line's up to it today, though.
Be interesting to see when they start throwing the ball. Now the wind is blowing across field in our face here, Frank.
From the broadcast booth.
Oh, a little jump there. Gets everybody moving in.
Looks like MIFA's clapping their hands, and they think it's against Detroit. And it is against Detroit. Illegal motion there.
So here we are. We didn't speak about the penalty aspect coming into this contest, and Prowl already, 3 or 4 here, a couple on the first drive, and now defensively, and we'll see if the All-Stars can take advantage of this. Quarterback sneak, calls their own number, and
stuffed right at the line there, Tommy.
Might be far enough for a first down. And it is.
Well, they got their biggest offensive play has been a 5-yard penalty. And 4 on a run and 1 on a run. So they get their first down here, MIFA, at their 27-yard line.
So pretty conservative play so far from the Longhorns. A few run plays, only one pass that they had later. And let's see the same formation again. 1 wide, handoff, met at the line, nothing there. And Natasha Charles takes a actually heavy low hit there, and the Prowl line comes up big again.
MIFA, they loaded up the offensive line on that run. It didn't help them much. They only got a yard or 2 there. And the D-line again came up big. Quick timeout here. Looks like Coach Vitale's got a few things to say to his team.
And with that, we'll be right back on the Go Live Sportscast. Welcome back to the action here. Coming out of the timeout, we have 7:04 left here in the first quarter. The score is tied, scoreless here at Mark Eglin Arena here in Allen Park. If you're just tuning in, we got the Detroit Prowl on defense, the MIFA All-Stars, the Longhorns in pink with the ball. Second down and about 9.
MIFA again loading up that offensive line. Looked like a run possible. Here it is.
Up the middle again, and stuffed Met there. Right at the line, a beautiful read is
MIFA again loading up the offensive line. Couple tight ends in there. Couldn't push that ball up anymore. Couldn't find a hole, and the D-line just stuffed it right there. A couple, maybe a yard and a half there, as MIFA trying to find some kind of offense here in the early going.
Yeah, running back Charles has been met several times by the stellar defensive line of the Prowl as a collective unit. There's Vez, takes a look back. Her second pass, she's being forced to her left. Again, escapes one tackle. She's got some room, and that gets enough for a first down on that scramble. A beautiful play and read, and Vez with the legs gets enough for that first down.
Well, that's what happens. You got a choice there. You got all your DBs are covering all the players. Got a player down right now for the Prowl. Hopefully she'll be all right. Quick scramble there. Looks like she picked up the first down on that scramble as she was running for her life there. Didn't see the injury there. I'm not sure if it was defensive end there giving chase to the quarterback, the MIFA quarterback. And
yeah, it may have been Octavia Griswold as a player hurt. That was, as you said, Frank. And it could be anything. Hopefully it's just some, minor dehydration, a cramp here. That'd be the best case scenario, and it looks like that may be it. And she looks no worse for wear, and they're going to go check her out just in case. But good to see Octavia walking off the field there.
Octavia right in the middle of that defensive line. They're going to miss her. Hopefully she can get back in the game for the Prowl here. Stand up that defensive line.
Yeah, she's been a big part on that right side. It seems that they were trying to run at her a little bit, and she just again bolsters that left defensive aspect of the Prowl's line. So we'll see what's going on there, how the All-Stars read it as they line up here. First down. Vez handoff right up the middle, and Natasha Charles.
They went right on that handoff, right to the position that she just left on to get checked on. Went to that right side of the right side of the defensive line of the Prowl. They were going to test that new player out there.
Natasha Charles, the back for MIFA. She's getting a lot of carries so far the early part of this game. 5:16 left here to go in the first quarter. They've got some momentum here going for MIFA. Here it is, back to Charles again. Charles rolls around, nothing much there, but still gets a yard out of it, and it'll be third down now and about 6.
So it's a passing play here, possibly 3rd and 6. They've been running the ball a lot. MIFA trying to look for a big hole. It's not going to happen right now as Detroit is standing up the line, holding the line. We'll see what MIFA comes up with here for an offensive play.
Taking a little time in that huddle. Now you got to probably rush the count here. They're lined up in the shotgun. Vez barks out to the right side. Set, receives the ball. Vez drops back. Here comes a big rush. Vez pulls it down, starts to run to the right. She's got some room and enough for the first down. She's horse collared there, but rolls out to the 50. There are some flags probably because of that horse collar, and they'll tack on some more to that long gain.
Well, she was going to the outside anyways, going to get out of bounds. And it's a bad penalty against Detroit Prowl. You're going to just gave her a shove and pushed her out. This is going to add another 15 on that run by MIFA.
So the efficiency of the offense, pounding it inside, and then all of a sudden you get a little bit of room outside the quarterback's legs. Apparently she can run.
Well, we said about the penalties, and they're really killing the Detroit Prowl here in the early going.
1st and 10 from the Prowl 35 now. Vez fakes it. Nope, hands it to Charles. She pushes that defensive line of the Prowl on the right side back 4 yards for a gain of 4.5. And
we're wondering if this is MIFA's game plan here. Keep it on the ground and throw on 3rd down when necessary. And that's what they're doing right now here in the early going.
Official call, 2nd down, 7. Vez looks to the left, motions some hand signals. Here it is, rolls to Charles on the right side. She's good for a couple more before being stopped, and it'll bring up 3rd down.
So MIFA pounding it to the right of their offensive line, getting a few more yards, just working it. They're going to play some of that hard running game here. 3rd down could be a passing play, could be a running play here. Short distance to go.
See defensive line up. They jam the box a little. They're expecting a run. Here's the big blitz, and they jump, and a penalty on the Prowl again.
Well, here's another penalty. It's only going to be 5 yards, but enough to get them a 1st down. It is, and Detroit Prowl playing a lot of penalties here in the first quarter. Coach Vitale is going to have to talk to his team to get discipline and adjust their game for the MIFA offense.
2:35 and time running down here in the first quarter of the Prowl's first home game. We're glad you're with us here on Go Live Sportscast. The MIFA All-Stars, a team from Toronto here with the ball, threatening. There's a fumble. She falls back on it, no harm done, and gets back to the line. Close call there.
Opportunity for Detroit, just couldn't get to that ball. MIFA trying to find a handle on that ball right in front. Luckily for MIFA, they recover that ball, so no gain there. It'll be a second down and long.
I haven't seen too many substitutions changes for Detroit. MIFA just has a couple changes now as Charles, their back, goes and gets a breather there. Second down now coming up. That backed him up a couple yards, so we got 2nd and 12. Bez takes a look, single back. She does the pitch. Take a look around the right side. There's a little room up. Stop there and thrown out of bounds. So beautiful play is Amy McConnell.
They changed it up a little there offensively for MIFA. Toss outside, trying to go way outside. They don't want to go inside that D-line. D-line's been working them pretty good here, stopping a lot of the runs, and they worked it to the outside this time.
A little different look. You have Charles, the bigger back. McConnell now single back as Vez goes into the shotgun. One receiver wide. There's the snap. Vez looking around. There's a long toss open and a little over the head, and that was very, very close, a little too far, incomplete. And that will bring up the 4th down.
She had a receiver open, just a little bit too much hot sauce on that pass, maybe about 5 feet ahead of her. She was clear to go and take that ball in for an easy 6. But there's a timeout on the field. What do you see so far, Tommy?
Well, the same thing everybody else is seeing. Penalties killing. It's
penalties,
and can't do it.
And that's how, they really have to straighten up their game. It just and it's penalties that can be corrected. It's not, pass interference or something like that. It's stuff that are discipline penalties that they're taking so far here late in the first quarter.
I'm sure everybody's juiced up, on the defense. They want to get on that score sheet. They want to make the big hit. But you just have to listen to that cadence, get the count, let the ball,
The Detroit Prowl crowd getting into it here, looking for some defense as they are rocking the stands here in Allen Park.
And it's fantastic to see the crowd interaction here. It's fantastic to see women's professional football catch on, especially here in the Detroit area. And hopefully those people in the Toronto area will also see, another international contest here. So we have 4th down. Still a long 11. Vez in the gun, getting pressured from the backside. Pulls it down, running out of room. She cuts back to the middle, has some room. She escapes one tackle, stumbles, bumbles, right back through the middle, and finally is met there by the Prowl. She's still on her feet. They're having a heck of a time bringing her down. And finally, after a gain of 6 yards, which was more like 67 yards the way she was going back and forth there, finally pulled her down, and there'll be a turnover on downs. So Prowl will receive the ball.
What a run by her. Possibly you thought she was going to go to the outside and stay to the outside. She cut in like a Barry Sanders move, went to the middle, but fell short of that first down and turned it over to the Detroit Prowl.
And there was a flag on the play, but it was against the All-Stars.
So I think that's the second penalty against the MIFA team here today. Way below the number of the Detroit Prowl on the penalty flag situation.
Well, it's going to be, they had to shoot off a lot of time on that clock, almost a good 10 minutes of that quarter here, 22 seconds left in the first quarter, Frank. And now with the Prowl, we'll see what kind of time they had to make adjustments, how much, they talked on the sidelines about getting this offense moving. They had good success in their first possession. Gorsica in the shotgun. Looks around. There's into the flat again. Stramiel with it. Met there. She cuts back inside, escapes a tackle, and good for about 2 yards.
Nice setup, a nice screen pass just to the outside. Gained a few yards. They'll move that ball, move that chains with a few seconds left. They're going to, actually the first quarter is going to tick off here. And we'll switch ends here. As we'll take a break right now here on GoLiveSportscast.com with the score 0-0.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter which you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
How prepared is your family? Shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane. You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Make a plan today.
So here we go, back to second quarter action after that first quarter break. Second and about 6. Gorsica receives it a shotgun, and now out to Stramiel in the flat again. She's got some room around that left side. Stramiel again meets the back one-on-one and still gets about another 7 yards after that. Good for 10 total and a first down.
Nice play. It looked like MIFA jumped offside. They timed it right to the outside. That defensive player for MIFA overplayed the play, and that left an opening on the left side of the Detroit Prowl offensive possession.
So there we go, 1st and 10, the Prowl. Again, they line up, traditional 2 backs. Gorsica hands off to the fullback. Good for right up the gut and good for about 6.
Good hard running there. Some ground game right now. After the last play, they want to keep it on the ground right down the middle. Stuff it towards MIFA and test out their D-line. Looks like they got about 5 on that offensive play.
Same place, Gorsica. Almost might have had a little jump. It's handed off, hole up the middle on the left side. Breaks 1 tackle, 2 tackles, and Rumble stumbles out of bounds at the 37-yard line of MIFA.
Nice play, using her arms. Broke to the left, found a hole there. Tried to turn the corner, but MIFA caught up with her and just pushed her out of bounds. Good run there as Detroit keeps the ball on the ground here. Looks like we got a penalty against Detroit. That play will come back.
A big penalty, a holding call. And
so that penalty's coming back to hurt Detroit Prowl again as a big play is wiped out completely.
I have to take a look whether or not it was even, Crittenden, the back for the Prowl, that beautiful run, and then all of a sudden, she's going, hey, listen, you didn't have to hold. I was already outside. I was there. I was gone. I had the afterburners on. She wasn't going to catch me anyways. But again, now it backs him up. Second down and about 8. Again, Gorsica, same pattern back to Crittenden. She takes a look. She's met by a couple MIFA players and rolls out for about 2.
Looked like the same running play as the last play, just it was stuffed up and blocked out. MIFA smelt that one all the way to Mississauga, and short yardage for Detroit.
Might have got 3 on that play, but whether it's going to be a long 5.5, and third down for the Prowl. So 12 7:20 left here to go in the second quarter. Prowl shooting themselves in the offensive foot with a couple penalties, and
we'll see if they go to that screen pass or they're going to keep it on the ground here with about a 5 yards to 6 yards to get that first down.
Well, Gorsica does have a big arm. She can throw the ball down the field, so no play action. There's Crittenden again, it looks like. Stremel, no, makes run tackle, but runs into a couple more defenders and not far enough for the first down. It'll bring up fourth and about 2.
Well, MIFA was ready for that ground game there. The running got stuffed there. They got about 4 yards, and that will be fourth down here. I don't know what the Detroit Prowl is going to go here. Might go for it here about 4th and 2.
Yeah, they've been doing the going down a lot, and coach making some changes. I think he's bringing the punting team onto the field at this point.
Coach Vitale wanting to pin his team back, the MIFA team here. Looks like we got a timeout called. They're going to discuss things here. So the All-Stars call a timeout here. 11-12 to go here in the second quarter. We're at 0-0, and the teams are just, you think they're still feeling each other out here, but, a lot of penalties by the Detroit team that really set them back.
Frank, we didn't see the first game of the season against them in Mississauga, and I know it was low scoring.
Yeah, 17-0.
So it tends to, the winning team usually tends to play the same way to a certain extent. Might throw a little things, little tricks here and there, but if it's working for MIFA, that run game up the middle. If it's not working for the Prowl, you got to change it up.
Well, you see Coach Vitale right now talking to his team, telling them what he wants out of them. Tighten up the team, tighten up your game, tighten up these silly penalties that they're taking here are setting them back.
And again, you take a look at the size of the benches for both clubs with the travel. I'm sure there's a few of the team mates for Toronto not able to cross the border for some reason or another. You know about that, Frank, don't you? I have.
So it looks like they're going for it here on fourth down.
Yeah.
Quick player change off the sidelines.
Always dangerous. Run out of time. Now they got to get it. Now everyone's moving and formation Corsica, and there you go.
Don't know if that was an offsides or the clock.
Timeout on, the All-Stars MIFA called timeout at the last moment and got it just under the snap. And sure enough, they didn't see that wrangle in that formation and said, "Hey, listen, we better stop this right now."
Well, before the last timeout, they were going to punt it, and they came out and they were going to go for it on fourth down. So the MIFA All-Stars, they're going to call timeout and discuss things here, get set up. They didn't really get set up for that kind of play based on they thought that Detroit was going to punt it.
Little chess match here between the coaches.
Coach Vitale, again, talking to his team right there just off the sidelines.
Gives the defense a little extra breather here.
Looks like Coach Vitale's got a little giddy up in his limp there. Not sure if he injured his leg or foot or
the whole body after years of football. Coach would be the first one to tell you that. So it's just he's going up pure adrenaline now, Frank. And so are the girls here. 4th down and 2. Little mix-up, but you got the ball off the right side, not far enough, just short, and a turnover on downs is
MIFA number 96. Big play by MIFA as we got an injury on the field. Nevertheless, they stopped them on 4th down, just short of the 4th down here at the 11-minute and 2-second mark of the second quarter. Just a quick handoff off to the right.
You know, the formation scheme. I mean, you have optional backs to go to. You lined up on the right side, heavy on the right side. You could always flip it out to the left because that's what you're looking for. Your quarterback has to be able. I'm sure coach is mentioning to Ali Gorsica. It may be her call at the line to kind of switch it up a little if she sees something different in the scheme that'll allow that break. And then when you start running out of time there, and you know those things take a little bit to develop, and you start to get rushed, and then all of a sudden the option that you wanted to go to, you go to the first option, and it's not there, and it's
well, it's going back. They were going to punt it on that fourth down. The All-Stars called a timeout. They came out with a fourth down. They were going to go for it. Another timeout. And they came back out and they went for it on fourth down. So they were set, MIFA, knowing that, you know, the previous timeout, they were going to go for it on fourth down, and they set up for it. Came right out again, going for it on fourth down.
So let's see, right at the inside the 48-yard line of the Prowl, 1st and 10. Off the right side, good for 2.
D-line still holding up there, even with an injury. Couple of yards, see what this next play, if it's going to be another running play, and then they're going to sit on a long third down play possibly. MIFA again, it looks like that pattern has been going for the MIFA team offensively.
You go another single back, Charles. And the back to her right there. Good for 5. We'll bring up third down in about 2.5, 3 yards.
So now they got some options here on third down, a screen possibly, or they can just run it. Stuff it again, stuff it down, push it forward, see if they can get that first down and keep the Prowl thinking here. MIFA just inside outside about the 42 of Detroit.
Single back set. Hands to her. Close to the sticks. We'll see where the marking is for this. She's very close to the first down. The refs say no. They mark it at about half a yard short, Then it'll bring up an interesting decision. 4th and 1 at the 37.5-yard line of the Prowl.
Well, they kept it on the ground on third down, and they had a short distance to go, and it looks like they're going to go for it here on fourth down here. As you said, looks like about the 38.5-yard line.
Prowl better be careful here. They're jamming the box. A bunch of people out front. Charles in the background for MIFA. It's ball going to go to her. No, Vaz. She calls her own name. It's a cluster right there in the middle. She's pushed backwards, but we'll see if forward progress got her. And the refs are saying no. Got stuffed there, a big defensive stop for the Prowl.
Well, quarterback sneak there, just couldn't sneak enough, and they'll turn it over here. Big stop by the Detroit Prowl as they stood up for that one.
Let's see if that defensive stellarness carries over to the offense and gets them pumped up. A player down on the Frank.
Detroit Prowl team, player down right now.
Again, you got to stay limber here. This starting to cool down a little bit here in the Allen Park area, a gorgeous suburb just outside, a few miles outside of Detroit, and Mark Eglin Field here at the Allen Park High School facilities. Beautiful field. Good crowd on hand, Frank.
Good crowd here on a chilly Saturday evening here, live from Allen Park. Thanks for tuning in to Go Live Sportscast.com, wherever you're watching. Go Live Sportscast on YouTube, Go Live Sportscast on TCL, and Go Live Sportscast on the Roku channel.
So it appears that looks like there might have been a finger or something to the eye of the Prowl player, number 35.
So we'll see as Detroit sets up their offense, discuss some plays, getting a few players on the field. Off the sidelines, need another player as MIFA coming off the sidelines get ready for the defensive action on their side.
Yeah, Deja Adams might have got a finger, a couple of them in the eye, and those don't feel good at all.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing to happen because, possibly the rest of the game your eye is blurry and you're watering eyes. And
here's Gorsica at a shotgun. Somebody jumped there, we'll see. And the Prowl jumped on that. Another penalty.
So they'll lose 5 yards as the penalties are eating up the Detroit Prowl. As MIFA didn't really have to do much to stop that play, as self-inflicting for the Detroit Prowl, taking all these penalties here in the first half.
Gorska will line up from the shotgun here now along 1st and 15. The snap, drop, that's over the head of Stramiel as she tried to feed it for her. Nobody there, overthrew it, and we'll bring up 2nd down.
That was like the alley-oop play of football, with that football trying to hit somebody on the outside. Good pursuit by the MIFA defense there to sniff that one out.
And I'm sorry, that was Edwards that with pass was intended to, a little too far for her.
So we've got sitting here at a 2nd and 15. See if they'll keep it on the ground or try to put it in the air and get some big yardage.
Surveying the situation. Single back set. Gorsa takes a look. The snap. Handoff.
Got a big chunk back there. He kept it on the ground. Went to the right side of the offensive line for Detroit.
Stramiel.
Might have gotten, 7 yards there.
Beautiful.
Still going to be 8 yards short of that first down.
And Stramiel, again, when she gets the ball, she's been effective when they haven't gotten penalties. So, hey, listen, if you're Coach Vitale, so give her the ball. Right. Stramiel, single back. Nope. I formation. There it is, Gorsica to Stramiel again. She takes a look up the middle, dodges 1, dodges 2. Close to the first down, and she'll get it. Beautiful run again.
Nice run. There was a hole on that left side. The offensive line opened up a big hole. You could have drove a Big Mac through there, and she picks up the first down.
Up to the line quickly. The Prowl are trying to get some tempo going here. 6:39 left here in the second quarter. They're feeling a little mojo here. Back to Stramiel again. She's tackled from behind, but still rolls out for 3 more yards.
So Detroit keeping it on the ground. They say, hey, a good run there. We'll just eat some ground game up here, 3 yards. Not going to the air. They're now in the MIFA territory just over the 50-yard line.
Changes. Stramiel comes out. Second down and a little under 8. Still with the eye backs. A couple different looks here. Gorska again. She'll roll it out after the fake. Nobody there. Let's see if her legs can take her. One back to beat. Stiff arm. Another one out of bounds at the 35-yard line after a gain of 11 yards.
A big bootleg there by Gorsica. She limbered over there to the left side, just getting out to the outside. Nobody was there for MIFA. Big yards gains there by Detroit Prowl. A different call here, as that's the first time we've seen the bootleg here in today's game.
You know, that was another how the line up there in that eye. I wonder if, that Coach Vitale gave her the option to call that if she sees something 1st and 10. 34-yard line. There's the snap. Gorska handoff right up the middle. Good for about 7.
So Detroit playing a little ground and pound right now here, keeping it on the ground here late in the second quarter. Just about 4 minutes and 40 seconds left to go as Detroit looking to strike first here in a 0-0 tie. Looks like we got an injury, a MIFA player. She's up and going to the sidelines. Big defensive player on the MIFA team.
So Bug Patman.
So big second down play here.
On that last carry, looked like a jump on the right side. Patton with it right back up the left hash mark. Good for a couple and close to the first down.
Yeah, looks like the defense on the MIFA team jumped on the left side. No flags, no harm. Keep on playing, they say.
So you got Stramil, the halfback that's juke moves. Then you got Patman comes in and puts it right down the gut.
Wouldn't be surprised to see another bootleg. This one to the right with that ball set on the left side of the field here.
Another slight delay for an injured player as Gorsica ran over to get some last-minute instructions, and 4:08 left here to go. Score tied at 0, Frank. Are you surprised?
Well, I knew it would be a tight game here today based on how they played the first game and the score here. MIFA is a much improved team over last year. And Detroit's working on their game with some new players in there and working things.
Still set formation. Gorska counts, gets him to draw. And again, good hard count by Gorsica, and that's a first down.
So there's a play that they needed. They got a penalty against MIFA for a first down. We'll start with a fresh set of downs here at just about the 19-yard line.
Back up to the line pretty quick. There's the snap. Patman takes a look. She bounces to the left side and down after about another 5 yards.
Good hard running there, just taking it behind the left side of that offensive line. We got a MIFA player down again as the ground and pound game is on for the Detroit Prowl.
They're scratching and clawing, get themselves pretty close inside this red zone here. 2:58 left to go before the half, and any score here before the half would be large for any of these teams.
They need to get a score here, Detroit, late in the second quarter, down in the MIFA end here. It'll be big for them to take that lead into the halftime and come back in the third quarter with a lead.
Yeah, and they get the ball back also.
And the kickoff.
Yeah. So very interesting, and we'll take a short break here as they attend to the player on the field. We'll be right back here on the Go Live Sportscast.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple? Chop the
Nope. I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Welcome back here. Go Live Sportscast. The Prowl threatened 2nd down and 5 on the 15. Handoff inside. Patman. Seen a lot of action here in the last few moments plays here, and she gets another close to the sticks.
Clock running right now. Still ground and pound here, getting that offensive line in front of them, gaining some yards. Here's a short down play here, trying to pick up a 1st down again.
So we'll see 2nd down short here. 3rd down and short. Clock running at 2:20 up the middle again. Patman finds some room, still scrambling, drags a couple defenders with her, and there's a 1st down to the 5-yard line of the MIFA All-Stars.
So there you go, 1st down and goal now for Detroit Prowl, as a big push right down the middle there, a little hole, and trying to drag her down was a tough task there for MIFA.
Hey, why not keep it going, get up to the line, quit, and we got a timeout here, it looks like. And the pressure felt all of a sudden. There was 1:58 left here before half. And, of course, I think the coach sensed his defense on the MIFA All-Stars were getting a little bit tired and give him a little extra breather here and hopefully can make a big stop here before half for him on this Prowl drive.
Well, Tommy, Detroit has kept that ball on the ground. They're just trying to wear down that MIFA defense. And they've run this all the way down here late in the 1st quarter, actually late in the 2nd quarter, minute 58 left, trying to get that 1st score. A much more disciplined drive here by Detroit as, what are they, 1st and goal at the 5. Let's see if they keep it on the ground here and try to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Coach calls here. What's been working is right up the middle with Bug Patman, and why stop? Why alter the game plan? You don't want to get too cute inside the 5-yard line. Anything can happen. And
right, you stay with what's happening, what's going good for you. You're keeping it on the ground. You just pound that ball in 5 more yards, take a lead, score first in this game, take it to halftime, and work off of that.
Crowd getting into it a little more as Gorska leads the Prowl up to the line. 2 minutes warning on the clock here. Gorska. Patman, no, she'll call her own number. No one there. Gorska will stroll. Touchdown, Prowl.
Another bootleg right there, just to the opposite side.
Gorska saw the opening there, calls their own number, faked the Patman, had me faked out here in the booth and a nice fake, and we have a penalty on the play.
So I called that there possibly be another bootleg on the other side, and we got a penalty on that, so that's going to be called back.
That was
She was wide open, as she just could have strolled right in, but penalty bringing it back, and Detroit shoots himself in the offensive foot again.
Late call, but it'll back him up.
So this one on the 12-yard line. Nice call with that bootleg to the opposite side. Both times had success.
Same staff still in there. There's the feed. Patman gets met there, still bounces out. Good rolls for a couple more, but not before. She was stuffed by the shirts in pink.
So they went back to the running game in the middle, trying to get some dazzling offense there. Got a few yards, still just inside the 10-yard line at the 9-yard line.
No personnel changes for the Prowl, no personnel changes for the All-Stars. They'll both line up. They both overlook each other. Gorska gets the ball. She calls her own number now, back out to the left side on the calling her own number. She's met there, stiff arm, rolls off that tackle, gets pushed out of bounds at the 2-yard line after a good carry of about 6 yards.
Well, bootleg to the left that time. You went to the right, you went to the left, you go back to the left, tried the stiff arm. She gets pushed out just about the 3-yard line, possibly. So big opportunity here as that ball is at the, looks like the 3-yard line, as it will be a third down and goal at the 3-yard line.
53 seconds left here on the clock, and she was pushed out of bounds. It stopped the clock, and now they have to be very careful here because of the fact that you're looking at your timeout situation. You're looking at your third down. You're close to the goal. What do you call? Or you get stuffed short, or you're going to have enough time to – you're going to call 2 plays at this point, I would believe here.
I think Detroit Prowl is going to go right up the middle, work that offensive line, and try to punch it in on the ground game from the middle, as they've had limited success doing the ground game to the middle. A couple of those big bootlegs to the left, and then that one to the right, what was called back on that first opportunity touchdown. And I think they'll go down the middle.
Well, they're going to have to be careful if they do that. They have, you're going to want to, at least if they go outside, they get pushed out of bounds, nothing happens, it stops the clock. If they get stuffed in the middle, then you create all kinds of havoc. I don't think they have any timeouts left. The time will be running. 53 seconds ago, and it's about to play out right here. No one. Outside on the left receiver, inside to Patman. She battles in the end zone, close. They're waiting, almost there, just short.
So they ran it right down the middle in the gut, trying to punch that one in.
Now they got to hurry up. 38 seconds. They called 2 plays on that. Time running down. Line up. Gorsica takes a look. It's 4th down here. Big time in the game right here. Let's see who wins this decision. Patman. Touchdown! Prowl.
Big touchdown there. A couple of runs up the middle. Finally punched it in there on 4th down with 20 seconds left as the Prowl take a 6-0 lead here late in the second quarter.
Boy, a nail biter there as she had to fight for every yard as the home team comes up big. They're going for 2 on this play. 20 seconds left on the clock before half. And the Prowl do get the ball back. So this could open up. They convert this. Great opportunity here going into the locker room.
Look for a possible pitch.
There it is.
There's the bootleg again to the right.
Inside.
Little inside move. She gets in.
Gorsica, 2-point.
Nice move there. Went back to the bootleg to the right.
No time came off the clock, though.
As they capitalize on that 2-point play, make it 8-0 here late in the second quarter.
On the extra point, does time come off the clock? That's what I thought. Yeah.
So
Dead ball.
they have opportunities and they capitalize it, making it 8-0 here late in the second quarter. They're going to take this to the locker room here with an 8-0 lead. Finally, Detroit Prowl capitalize on some of their offense.
And, of course, 2-point play, dead ball, no time off the clock. So 20 seconds here. Well, let's see if MIFA will end up trying to take a shot or if they're just going to try to get some rest for the second half.
We'll see if Detroit does a little swiv kick, trying to keep that ball bouncing around. See if MIFA, if they do receive the ball, if there's going to be some laterals and all that fancy dazzle stuff.
Maybe a little onside kick here. Nope, there's the boot. Bounces at the 30, retrieved there, picked up, through one, look out here, runs into a couple of road defenders and then down with 14 seconds to go, ball on the 39-yard line.
So a conventional kick there on the kickoff just to the sidelines of Detroit. MIFA did get that ball and they started carrying it back towards the MIFA sidelines. Got cut off and looking for a lateral pitch there. Nothing happening as 14 seconds left to go here in the second quarter.
So do we see the hook and ladder play here, Frank? 14 seconds left. Let's see how they line up. Fullback. Doesn't look like much of anything. Take a knee, and they'll go to the half. And we will go to the halftime. Come on right back to Mark Eglin Field here. Grab your favorite beverage. Get a refill on your nachos, and we'll be back here for the second half with the score. The Detroit Prowl 8, the MIFA All-Stars 0.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
Where's your emergency?
Everyone's on their way. What happened? She's dead? Yes, please get my mom and dad. Oh my God!
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school.
It's been so amazing to be able to give our child the life that we kind of pictured us having, even though we didn't really have that.
I've been in foster care my whole life.
He's so strong to just be able to leave that all behind and still be able to take care of his daughter and be a good husband.
Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. This would not be real. I could not have done it alone.
We've been through so much in our life, and he never used that as an excuse, but as motivation to do better.
I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope. I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay.
You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. I'm high. Let's order in.
Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
911, where's your emergency? Everyone's on their way. What happened? Your friend's not safe. Please get my mom and dad. Oh my God!
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school.
It's been so amazing to be able to give our child the life that we kind of pictured us having, even though we didn't really have that.
I've been in foster care my whole life.
He's so strong to just be able to like leave that all behind and still be able to take care of his daughter and be a good husband.
Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone.
We've been through so much in our life, and he never used that as an excuse, but as motivation to do better.
I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope. I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay. You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. I'm high. Let's order in. Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Yes.
Make a plan today.
Woo. 911, where's your emergency? Everyone's on their way. What happened? Your friend's not safe. Please get my mom and dad. Oh my God!
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. My daughter Brooklyn was also a motivation for me to go back to school.
It's been so amazing to be able to give our child the life that we kind of pictured us having, even though we didn't really have that.
I've been in foster care my whole life.
He's so strong to just be able to like leave that all behind and still be able to take care of his daughter and be a good husband.
Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone.
We've been through so much in our life, and he never used that as an excuse, but as motivation to do better.
I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Hey, can you chop the pineapple?
Chop the pineapple.
Nope. I'm high. How about I wash off the grapes?
Yes.
Okay. You're already making good decisions when you're high.
I want tacos. Will you drive? I'm a little toasty.
Nope. I'm high. Let's order in. Don't make an exception when it comes to driving. If you feel different, you drive different.
Welcome back to Go Live Sportscast here from Mark Eglin Arena, and we are about getting ready, set for the second half of play here for the Detroit Prowl against the MIFA All-Stars women's professional football action. And Frank, the first half, your thoughts on it?
Well, a lot of penalties in the first half. Teams need to clean up both ends. Not much offense from the MIFA team here, as they couldn't get anything going. Detroit kept on shooting themselves in the foot with the penalties, finally scoring late in the second quarter just before halftime with that shove-it-down-your-face run-in to make it 6-0 and converting on the 2-point play there, extra point, to take an 8-0 lead here.
It seems that a few of the bootlegs getting the ball to the outside were effective when, again, as you mentioned, Frank, when they weren't getting penalties, were effective for the Prowl. Do you see them doing more of that in the second half or changing it up?
Well, I see that they're going to repeat these plays, the bootlegs, keep it on the ground as much. They haven't passed much, Detroit. I see that they're going to probably keep it on the ground with some success that they've had, and maybe have to change it up if things get cut short there.
And for the All-Stars / Longhorns, again, it looks like they have not a depleted staff. It's just a light staff playing. Some of the girls playing both ends of the ball. Again, with those types of numbers, what do you expect them to do offensively and defensively to kind of conserve some of their players?
Well, they're going to have to find a niche here between their offense and defense. I mean, you go a whole game playing offense and defense, it really wears down on you. Going the whole game, as the game gets later, you get more tired, and it takes an effect on your body. So Detroit's got a pretty full squad here, and endurance is going to help them longer into the game. MIFA, they're going to have to find some kind of offense here. They had an offense problem in the first game when they lost 17-0, and that was a home game for MIFA in Canada.
So the American Women's Football League, again, we have tonight's first home game here for the Detroit Prowl. Their next games, we have next Saturday, May 10th here, and the following Saturday, 17th here. And again, the two other teams that they face up is against the Lansing Legacy, and the Carolina Tigers, both strong teams overall.
Now Lansing, they got shocked last weekend in a loss, and they were just rolling along. So, Detroit's got 2 losses. Of course, they gotta run these 3 games. They got to win these 3 games and maybe get some help, possibly, to get in the playoffs. But one game at a time here. So they first have to take care of the MIFA All-Stars, and then if they do that, move on to preparing for next week against the Lansing Legacy, and that's going to be a tough game here at home.
So a big second half here for the Prowl, who will receive the ball, an 8-0 lead. And as Frank mentioned, this is probably a must-have in the season for them to maintain this lead and go into next week with a win here. And we'll see how it plays off here. Again, the temperature dipped a little bit. The wind is calmed down quite a bit. Temperature dropped, but overall a pleasant evening, spring evening here for football here in Allen Park, Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. Allen Park, just a small suburb. So grab your favorite beverage and join us for the second half action.
So like I said, Detroit's going to have to play a solid second half here in the American Women's Football League and hold on and get a W and take one step at a time.
And there's the kick. It bounces inside the 34, a little bobbled around there, picked up by the Prowl. 1 juke, 2 juke, a little room, cuts to the inside, gets a good return out of it, and runs it out to the midfield here as they'll take over first down and for the Prowl.
Well, a kickoff right there, dropped on the kickoff and then picked up, ran it about to the midfield mark here. Good start here for Detroit to put their offense in gear. We'll see if Detroit can stay away from the penalties here in the second half, offensively and defensively.
Coach Vitale will see if he sticks to the game plan. We're about ready to find that out here. Prowl coming up to the line methodically. Gorsica scanning the field. The teams line up. Now a whistle blown, and I don't know what they're
by the backfield judge there. A flag is on the field. Let's see, we got a player count here.
Still waiting. He picks up the flag. No harm, no foul. They just had to double check.
See if his flag still flies.
Keep it in the pocket. Let him play. Gorsica from the shotgun. Hands it off, though. Stremiel straight up the gut for 4.
Quickly, they go to that run game again, trying to keep it on the ground here. It looks like about 3 or 4 yards. Second down. Maybe Detroit going to put up in the hurry
It was
up.
30. Yep. Yep. Crittenden with the ball again. Right up the gut again. Defensive line pushed back by the Prowl, and
nice run there. She just kept on running hard, took a few players with her, and that will get her the first down here quickly. Detroit coming out here in the third quarter. Got a player on the field here. We'll take a quick break, see if
she's all right escorting her to the sidelines.
So Detroit punching it over the 40-yard line of MIFA on the opening possession of the third quarter, looking to run that ball down and punch in another 6.
Gorsica in the gun again. Crittenden, little stutter step in the backfield, but she gets hauled down from behind and thrown forward for maybe 1.5 yards.
Well, MIFA sniffed that one out. Slow developing play there. Detroit had no chance as MIFA caught that one for no gain.
Second down. MIFA trying to keep their bench short. Quick changes. Substitutions for them. We got second down and about 8.5. Gorsica again from that same formation. And the gun looks like almost a...
It's a double shotgun.
Hands off to Crittenden again. She's met in the backfield, spins forward for a couple. And a fumble. I don't know if they're going to say the ball was down. No, it's loose, but picked right back up again by an alert Gorsica, and she's run out of bounds at the 34-yard line.
Well, big opportunity by MIFA to gobble up a turnover there. They couldn't hang on to it, and Detroit got that ball back.
It was close, and then there's a flag on the play, legal procedure on the Prowl, so all that for naught, and it'll back them up.
Memories of the first half as they take a 5-yard penalty there on that play.
Second down again. And overall, so the All-Stars decline the penalty. They'll take the down away instead, so it'll be third down and 9. 8.5, call it, whatever you want it. So
passing situation here, not sure if they'll pass or run that bootleg. They've had a lot of success with the bootleg here today.
A lot of discussion in the backfield there. The receivers as Gorsica's getting over some last-minute instructions, trying to set them up.
Possible pass out to the flat here or screen.
Hand off to Crittenden, a flag on the play. Somebody must have jumped, and that's only good for 1 yard, but we'll see what happens on this flag.
Surprising play right there. Oh.
Another movement, and We'll see.
False start by Detroit again.
We'll see if they take the down away, make it a 4th down, or if they're going to back them up. And this time they're taking the yards, so it'll be 3rd down.
Seen the referee indicate another false start by Detroit.
3rd down at about 13.5 yards here. So maybe a good idea to, on this call, take the yards, back them up 3rd down, and
well, it looks like it's going to be like a 3rd and 14 or 3rd and 15 here.
So we'll see what Coach Vitale has out. It comes with that same lineup, the same formation he's had the last 3 downs, all 3 attempted handoffs to Crittenden.
At this point, this could be when they're going to turn to the passing game, possibly. Looks like they're going with the same kind of setup they had earlier on the penalty play.
And now, too much time taken by the Prowl and backs him up again. Penalties.
Another 5-yard penalty. Don't have the actual stats in front of me how many penalties the Prowl has taken today. But they're going in reverse right now.
They're hurrying up. Hey, they already know the last 4 plays that have resulted in penalties, so they already know what to pick. Here's Gorsuch took a look to the right. Now she pulls it down, goes to the left. She's directing traffic, and she'll just throw it away. Incomplete and out of bounds, and that'll bring up 4th down and very long for the Prowl.
Well, good defensive play by MIFA. They had everybody covered on the field. Gorska just had to throw that one out bounds and eat that one, and the Prowl will turn this one over.
Well, it's 4th down now. Yeah. 4th and long. Gorska counting the players. Back in the shotgun.
So at the 48-yard line of MIFA, they're going to.
It looks like they're. No, they're. No, there's the. Yeah, there's
a different kind of setup there.
Takes a Prowl bounce. It's retrieved over the 30, up to the 35, and down at the 38-yard line where MIFA will take over.
So a short drop back by the punter there. We kind of confused us a little bit there whether they were going to go for it. Not a good punt at all. MIFA picked it up on that bounce, couldn't run that back either. So MIFA will start at the 38-yard line of their field.
9:31 here, left to go with the 3rd quarter. And we welcome you to Go Live Sportscast. Hope you're enjoying this contest here today. The MIFA All-Stars now with the ball. Need a big break here to get back into this, get some momentum going, down by 8. Here's the pitch, around the outside. She looks like she thought about throwing it, pulls it down. Met right there, spins off that tackle and rolls out to the 42-yard line.
Another slow developing play there. The pitch to the outside. Just couldn't turn that corner. She still got about 4 or 5 yards on that run. Setting up a 2nd down play for MIFA.
And Patton playing both sides of the ball there, who made that stop. Scoring touchdowns and making stops on defense. There's McConnell with the ball again off the left side. Nothing there. Maybe a yard at the most.
MIFA has loaded up the line there, and they're going to try running that ball. Quick give and go there. Just about 2 yards, maybe a yard and a half, and bringing it to the 3rd down.
Up to the line pretty quick. Slot left. Pressure. Vez throws it down. Has McConnell. She retrieves it. Trying to get to the outside. And a beautiful tackle there. Only good for about 3 yards, and that'll bring up
That one's going to be pretty close.
Fourth
Might be
down.
about a half a yard or a yard short. Looks like about a yard short. Fourth down, just in front of the 50-yard line. This will be at the 47 of MIFA. They're going to go for it on fourth down. Looks like they're set up for possibly not. Nope, they are going to go for it here on fourth.
Vez tried to push it up the middle herself, and just enough, and the whole pile for the Prowl goes backwards, and that's a first down for the All-Stars.
Quick quarterback sneak there, taking it way past the 50-yard line, getting the first down for MIFA. Some momentum for the MIFA team right now.
Boy, to push the Prowl defense back 5 yards. That's pretty impressive.
MIFA just keeping it, quarterback keeping it on that quarterback sneak, getting the first down they needed.
Receiver split to the right. McConnell receives it in the backfield on the pitch. She's got a little room. She's got to get around one defender. Stiff arm rolls off her. It gets met there. And that was what we call a tough 3 yards. Boy, I tell you, that was, when you're rolling, after you're running all those yards to the outside, you cut it inside, you're a little winded, and you get hit right in the bread basket there. Shoulder pad met right. I'm surprised she's still in there and still has some wind. See if they call her number again. Second down and a long 6, maybe 7. There's some jump there on the line. Flags are flying all over the place, and that'll be called on the Prowl.
So another penalty against the Prowl, setting them back 5 yards. MIFA moving the ball on the ground with some help from Detroit in their penalty situation. Combination has put them down to the Detroit 39-yard line.
MIFA hurries up, rolls up to the line. They all sprinted up to the line. There's McConnell with the ball. Right side. Rolls for about 6 yards, and that's another first down.
So MIFA keeping it on the ground, just moving their offensive line and moving their running backs, moving that ball forward down to Detroit's 33 now.
Seems that they're picking on that left side defense of the Prowl. Primarily, it just appears that all the runs have been to that side, to the right side, to the left side of the defense for the Prowl.
Well, MIFA must see something on that left side of the defensive line of Detroit. Yeah, as you said, they'll keep on running towards it.
There they are. They sprint up to the line again. One receiver split left. There's the pitch to McDonald again. McDonald looking around. She got to take the long way. Pulls up. Gets hog-tied there, and nothing going on. A beautiful defensive play. That'll go for a loss.
Well, just as we said, they were going to that right side. They go to the left side, trying to go to the outside, bounce it to the outside. Nothing happening on that side. They might go back to the right this time.
And Curse, a beautiful play on that right side. There we go, lined up. MIFA 2nd and 11. There's the snap. McDonald again. There's flags flying, so somebody must have jumped.
Stuffed at the line. Then Flag City again here. Flag City, Allen Park. Officials talk it over right now, Tommy.
I heard a rumor that illegal substitution, too many, against the Prowl, and it may have been the second time that they had that against them today. So those are those are calls from the bench, and it's between the bench and the field. McDonald again, seen a lot of action here. She's stuffed on that left side and pushed back, but forward progress will get her to the line of scrimmage maybe, and it'll bring up third down in about a good 5.5. A long 5. And again, join us here next week. Same time, same place. as the Prowl take on the Lansing Legacy. You can find more information on the Detroit Prowl website on Facebook. Detroit Prowl Facebook. Now, Vez trying to put McDonald on one side. She's from the shotgun. We haven't seen this in a while. Bobbled the snap a little bit. She pulls it down, runs to that right side, breaks one tackle, still on her feet, down to the 18-yard line, and a beautiful run there by Vez.
Nice play there. She was looking to throw it, took the run on herself, and drove it all the way down to the 19 of Detroit's end there. 19-yard line. Detroit's now has to stop this offense of MIFA as they're trying to punch it in here late in the third quarter.
3:05 left to go here in the third quarter. Long drive here by the MIFA All-Stars. Vez in the shotgun. McDonald again to her left. Vez rolls to her right. She throws in the middle into a crowd. Picked off by the Prowl.
Big turnover there. Detroit capitalized on that throw as MIFA was going to their ground game. All of a sudden they threw one in, a deflection, and it's picked off by Detroit. Big play as MIFA was threatening to get on the scoreboard.
Bugs Patman all over the field offensively and defensively today. Comes up with that right place, right time. Maybe an ill-advised throw there by Vez. Looks like she was being pressured and didn't look like she had anything in the middle, but that's just not a good place to put that ball.
MIFA was keeping the ball on the ground. They go to the pass game. All of a sudden, they throw it in the air, and it's deflection picked off by Detroit. This is the deepest MIFA's been in Detroit's end this whole game.
Yeah, that would be a little, heartbreaking for the coaching staff. You got a good thing going, taking a lot of time off the clock. You're threatening, and then just one quick, simple mistake in judgment, and now Gorsica and the Prowl will take over at their own 13-yard line. To the deep back. Outside. Has some room. Stromile down the sidelines. One defender to beat, and just pushed out at the 42-yard line. Is a beautiful run there by Stromile.
Good play, quick pitch to the outside. She took it along the sidelines. Big gain for the Prowl right here late in the third quarter.
More important, it's, you're pinned deep 13-yard line, and that large run there for 30 yards is huge. Big break here for the Prowl. Big play. We'll see how the All-Stars come back from this. Both players playing both offense and defense. Their offense was on the – now they got to come back, play defense, and no wind. And we'll see if they can end up holding up here. Gorska now up under center with 1:54 on the clock, ticking down here in the third quarter. Quick handoff to Stromile. She drops the ball. It's on the field, but looks like she regained possession and lost a yard on that.
Dangerous play there by Detroit. Almost a turnover after they started getting some momentum here. And we got a player down for MIFA.
Looked like she jammed her hand on that, trying to go for the fumble and jammed her elbow into the turf.
Could have been a turnover for Detroit after they got the turnover against MIFA on that interception, deflection in their end. But Detroit will hold on to the ball as we wait out this injury. Hopefully she'll be all right.
It looked like Stromile had for a moment that, she received the pitch, and I think she was so excited she went to take a look to see what she had downfield before actually catching the ball, and it looked like she did have for a moment maybe one defender to sidestep before she had a lot of green in front of her, and instead what happens? Well, only green I'm looking at, and I was down at my feet trying to chase this brown thing around the field, right?
This third quarter, Tommy, has gone by real fast. 1:34 left to go here in the third quarter. And MIFA, as we saw there, had some momentum on the ground. They threw that ball, got it picked off. Detroit brings it back, a good run. Then they pitch to the outside, fumble, injury right now. That's where we're at.
And as they're trying to sort things out here, doesn't look like they're calling for anybody. But why don't we take a quick break here on the Go Live Sportscast. We'll be right back here from Mark Eglin Field. Go get your favorite beverage. We'll be right back.
The family's visit to the forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted. I think I am a tree. My child, of course you are. But what kind of tree will you be? The kind to hug or the kind to climb? Doesn't matter what you choose, so long as you choose to be a tree that's kind.
Welcome back to the action here. All players okay, walked off the field, a minute 34. Gorsica up under center, second down and about 11. She'll throw it to Stromile. Stromile takes a look around, stutter step, but nothing there, and she gets about 2 on that.
So Gorsica handed that one off, nothing happening. Went to the right with that offensive line. MIFA coming up big there, holding it to a 2-yard gain.
Back to the original line of scrimmage here, third down and 10. A couple substitutions for the MIFA All-Stars. A couple substitutions for a different look, different package. Stromile does come out. She's been carrying the ball quite a bit. It's been pretty effective when she has the ball. Minute 15 counting down here in the third. Gorsica up over center, scans the field, 2 backs, and now we have a timeout by the MIFA All-Stars here with 1:04 left to go in the third.
Tommy, it's a little bit chilly here today, but I want you to see this young lady down there. We'll see if we can get her on camera. She's in shorts and T-shirt holding up a sign.
Well, it's summertime here in Michigan. It's the summer.
And we're complaining it's chilly.
Springtime. Well, spring, summer. It's.
If we can get a chance to see what it says on her sign, but we're complaining it's cold, and she's out there with shorts and T-shirts. So.
She's not cold at all. A couple of
cocktails.
The pops in you. Yeah, a little warm up here.
Shirley Temples.
A little hot cocoa. Whatever's in there, right? A little smidgen of your favorite little hot cocoa mix, and you're good to go. You roll around shorts here. That's how we do it here in Michigan.
So Mike Vitale talking to his team, Coach Vitale. They call him Coach V. The Flying V, they say. I've heard a few people say that.
I'm surprised we haven't seen that formation yet from him. I'm waiting for it.
The Flying V formation?
I don't know if Vince Lombardi had that in his playbook or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if he pulled it out. But we're about ready to find that out, Frank, here. 1:04 left to go in the third, and a long third down and 10 here for the Prowl. Gorsica, we got 2 backs. Looking over. Cadence, pitch to the left side. Up over the 50 and down at the 49-yard line.
So good run right there. Still going to be actually going to move it to a first down. She got the first down.
It was just enough. It looked like it was just a little short, but not. We're up from a different vantage point than on the field, and they say, hey, it's a first down. Move the sticks. Big first down there. Clock keeps going, winding down. Probably the last play of the third quarter here, unless they decide to hold it. Hear the call. Hear Gorsica's voice. There's a handoff to Patman. She drags the pile for 3 yards, and that'll set up a second down, and we'll go to the fourth quarter with the score, the Prowl 8 and the MIFA All-Stars 0. And again, go get your favorite beverage and come on back and join us on the Go Live Sportscast. Welcome back, friends and families, here from Allen Park, Michigan, Mark Eglin Field. The Detroit Prowl here beginning the fourth quarter with the ball. Second down and 6, the 46-yard line. There's a pitch to Stromile. She gets it. She's been effective. A nice cut inside, back out to outside. She's dragging a pile. Let's push for another 3-4 yards. It's still up there. And finally down at the 37-yard line of the All-Stars.
Good, strong running there, going to the left side of that offensive line. And Detroit just doing some ground and pound here, keeping it on the ground, going to eat some clock up. If it's working, going to stay with it. Got another MIFA player on the field down here.
Boy, with that pile, and that's a dangerous aspect of it. You have that pile being pushed all around. All those players converge. It's not surprising that someone did not come out of that pile, with a little tweak. And hopefully that's all it is at this point for her.
Well, you got a whole team pushing against another team, and that ball just keeps going. Those legs just keep on working. And, she probably got 5 to 8 yards additional from the point of impact.
Yeah. And, Stromile is not a larger back. She's finesse, more of a jitterbug. And for her to hit that pile and then have the rest of her teammates come in here with her legs moving and gain some extra yards was very, very impressive.
Detroit keeping it on the ground. That's what they want to do. They want to eat up clock and bring that ball down, try possibly capitalizing on some more points and freeze this game.
We talk about some big players in big-time spots, and you have a couple of them just that, I've noticed here from already in this game. And, again, it's not over. We still have 14:36 left on the clock. But, Stromile is one of those players that's had some big carries, eating up a lot of yards, some time on the clock. You have, Patman with the big interception and a lot of yards that she's had on the offensive part of the ball, playing both sides of the ball. So, Gorska, a couple big runs and maybe some leadership qualities there. So if the penalties weren't, messing around with the Prowl, they may have had more points and more opportunities.
Well, Detroit's definitely going to have to clean up their game, for next week against Lansing Legacy. The penalties, the slow offense, they're going to have to clean up their game. They're going to have to be on top of their game. They're going to have to play a good game, error-free or fairly error-free, in order to beat this Lansing team.
And they had Lansing early in the year, and then, again, we're talking first games. You come around the teams a second time, it might be a little different, but that first game, apparently they did struggle.
Well, they got beat 35-0, so they got shellacked, and then they got a coat of polyurethane put on them. So it was 35-0. I mean, it's a road game, but they know who they are now. You get shellacked 35-0, you know who they are. And Coach V, he's going to have his team ready. They're going to have to be disciplined. They're going to have to play a good, solid game. You go and you're playing a MIFA team right here, and you have that many penalties and stalled offense, and you're still winning. That's not going to play out against Lansing. He's going to have to clean that game up.
And then, again, you have, it looks like for the most part, the teams that are in this league, maybe a little different than prior years. It seems that you do have a little more parity. I mean, we are watching a depleted all-star team of MIFA here, but it could have been different in Mississauga, where they may have had more players and more depth. But it seems like all these teams in here, that they have a chance of beating each other any night. And if you don't come prepared, to your point, Frank, that you're going to get shellacked. So still some time here for MIFA, but for right now, they've got a big stop here. As the Prowls had the ball for a while, chewing up a lot of clock. First down. Gorsica with the fake. She rolls out. She's pressured. She pushes off that tackler. She winds up and lets it fly. And, just a little too far out of the outstretched hands.
Well, she scrambled to the outside. That was a set play. Just couldn't get that pass to land. I think that's the second one she's had that was just a bit out of reach for the receiver. And Detroit trying to shake things up here at the beginning of the fourth quarter as they still have the ball.
I believe that was Edwards that the ball was going to out there. It was just off her fingertips.
So this will be a second down here. Another opportunity for Detroit. We'll see if they'll put it back on the ground, eat some clock up, not try to strike big at one shot.
Edwards in the backfield again, and if that play developed again, she was in the backfield, and she went all the way around to the right side to that far post. That play took a while to develop, but that was the key. Gorsuch got the outside. Now here's Edwards with the ball again to the left side this time. She's met. She's trying to spins off. She stumbles for a couple more after being met there by the defender, and it'll be third down now.
Well, she went to the outside. She stayed in bounds, so the clock kept running. So instead, we have a Detroit Prowl player down. That stops the clock. That's not what Detroit wanted. Of course, they have no control over an injury, but keeping that ball inside the playing lines, they do.
I want to go back to that last play that almost went for a touchdown for the Prowl on that long. That play, those plays take a long time to develop a little bit, and you have to have everything go right for you. First of all, it was a good fake. Gorsuch evades that defensive end, pressuring her. And then, Edwards ran from the backfield down the right hash mark and then did the post pattern. And then that timing in general shows you, with Gorsuch's arm, a little those things that gets a couple more games, and I'm sure you're going to see that much more. It's going to be cleaner. That's going to be a touchdown the next time that they decide that they're probably going to end up running that play when it brings that opportunity.
Well, as you said, it's a slow developing play, and everything does have to be perfect, and it's a play that needs to be worked out, in practice a lot in order for it to develop properly. So just going to go over the rankings here, Tommy. Lansing Legacy, this is according to the American Women's Football League, is ranked second. This was as of last week. MIFA was ranked third. Detroit Prowl was ranked 8th. This would be in their conference, the East Conference, the Northeast Conference. So 9 teams. They had, I think it's the Kalamazoo Bears as the 9th ranked team. So Detroit, the back-to-back champs in their respected leagues, not getting a lot of respect here in their 4th game of the year. So how do you do that? You prove yourself. You go out there, you win a game, you win another game, you put a string of games in. They're still a champs until somebody beats them.
Yeah, very, very good point. To earn the respect. You're just not going to get it waltzing into the field and thinking, hey, we got some
Rankings don't play football games.
There you go.
Players play football games.
I wanted to say Coach V's got he's got a lot of metal on there, but he's gonna have it's a new year.
Right.
The old metal doesn't mean nothing. It's a new year.
Talking to Coach V, he's always looking to get more bling.
Yeah.
So he's going to get this team going in top speed here.
Yeah.
They've got to work on those penalties. They got to work those out, and that'll be part of their game that they have to work out between this week and next week's game, next Saturday. And like I said earlier, they're going to have to be on top of their game.
Yeah, you could see the formations even in this game. You could see the formations and the plays that they're running, that it is a little more advanced. And how quickly, we're into game 4, how quickly the players are able to pick up, those specialty plays where everybody has to be on, and to pick those up and to run those clean without the penalties we'll see how it plays out the second half of the season.
Well, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm going to. So, they're going to play Lansing next week. Tough game as they lost that first game. And then the following week, they got a tough home game, Carolina Tigers, which they lost 13-2. They lost on the road in Carolina 13-6. So, these are going to be 3 tough home games in a row that you're going to have to win in order to be playoff bound or have a chance. You might need some help from some other teams in order for you to get to the wild card round or divisional round.
Yeah.
So,
and you mentioned another key word, home.
Yes.
You're home. You don't have any travel.
Right.
You better take care of business at home.
Definitely. I mean, you played your 3 road games. You got them out of the way. You didn't come out the way you wanted to. You came out with a 1-2 record, but now you have an opportunity to turn that around. So we're still waiting for the injury on the field. Hopefully she'll be all right. Detroit, 13 minutes and 8 seconds left to go here in the fourth quarter. I'm sure they want to keep that ball on the ground, eat up some clock, possibly score another, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, here to widen up that lead. MIFA just can't find their offense whatsoever, as so far, after 7 quarters against Detroit, they haven't scored anything. The 4 quarters in Toronto, 17-0 they lost, and now down 8-0 here at the beginning of the fourth quarter.
And speaking of international sports, again, we invite you to check out all the great programming from many different types of competitions on Go Live Sportscast. Again, www.golivesportscast.com. Take a look at all the upcoming events. There are some fantastic archives, soccer, wrestling. They also have you got some baseball coming up, Frank, coming up here?
We got some baseball this summer, yep, and there'll be a couple of all-star games. We've got some other things that we'll be bringing to you and announcing here in the future. Of course, you being a big, huge hockey player, we'll be working with
You talking about my weight?
Well, I didn't want to say you're a fan because you're still playing. So I didn't want to put you in that category.
If that's what you want to call it. Some of my teammates may say elsewhere, but.
So it looks like she's going to come off the field. Big hand for her. The Detroit player. Looks like she's possibly an arm. I'm not a doctor by any stretch of the imagination, but it's good to see her coming off the field.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's nothing serious. Yeah. Didn't see exactly what happened to her in that play, but
I'm from the playing sports and everything. No injury is good. You see an elbow or as long as they're walking off.
Yeah.
The legs are the.
I mean, you're playing sports.
Good, yeah.
You're there's possibility of injury. You have a hard time even walking up steps sometimes. So do I, and I can self-injury. Coming up these stadium steps here.
Yes, maybe Coach V can pull some strings here and get us an escalator or something, or an elevator, or
parachute us in.
Yeah, or at least have
catapult. Something.
Or at least have our stadium announcer, Jeff Chase,
call Uber.
Something, right? So, but again, now, hey, enough of the antics here in the booth. Getting back to some more important stuff here. We've got they're getting the sticks ready, but we have a long third down for the Prowl here. They are at the 35-yard line. They have an 8-0 lead, 13:08 left on the clock here. And after a long delay like that, we'll see if the players get limbered up and if the execution is going to be as crisp as it was getting them to this 35-yard line here.
Coach Vitale trying to get the big W so he can go home and chow down on some pasta tonight.
Right on, they line up, I formation. Handoff, Stromile, left side. Around 1, meets the second defender, and she gets about 2.5 on that, and that'll bring up fourth down.
So fourth down, deep in the MIFA territory, what are you going to do? You're going to punt? You're going to go for it? Everything's looks like they're talking about going for it here. Even though it's a 4th and long here. Right now they look like they're going to go for it.
Wind now is picked up blowing across the field towards the press box here, left to right. And
ball on the 28-yard line. Why not go for it? What will a punt do for you? I mean,
that's a tough spot right there. Eh? So here we go. Set up in a running formation. Let's see what Gorska does here. Maybe a little fake. Oh, she got a hard count and drew him off.
So she got 5 yards there. That's exactly what she was looking to do. Coming up to that line, you could read it coming down there. So another 5, still short of the 4th down, but you're closer to home.
That's a veteran move right there. A little hard count with a little right shake of the ankle, and 4 players come rolling over the line at you.
So it sets us at about 4th down and 2, maybe 2.5.
That's what it looks like. Sticks looks
3,
like they're on the
2,
26-yard line. Yeah, about 2 yards, too long, however you want to call it, right in there. We'll see what happens here. Gorska. Here's the snap to Stromile. Stromile up the middle. First down and more.
Straight up the gut. Right there. Got 2 and more. They're just going to eat some clock right now. Deep in the MIFA territory here.
Boy, big first down. I tell you what, that little long break, it starts getting a little cold. The sweat starts to freeze up, and if you're on defense, you got to take those offensive hits on there again. And the time of the game it is, and where the ball was, and you're backed up. Now you're really going to have to get that blood flowing again. Make some big stops here if you're MIFA.
Look for Detroit to keep the ball on the ground, eat some clock, eat some yardage up, and wind this game down. They're looking to choke this one out.
There's a new back. Crittenden up the middle. Or is that 35? Is that 35? 25?
So a quick handoff there. Got a few yards as the clock keeps rolling at the 10-10 mark here of the 4th quarter.
And Patman again, both sides of the ball. So, again, very effective offensively, defensively, and on both sides of the ball. And it's very, very key to have a versatile player like Bugs Patman on your team. Line up, 2nd down. Patman with the ball again, straight up the gut, runs straight forward. Looks like she got about almost 10 yards on that for was that close for a first down? No. Oh, man. 7.
So Detroit's going to keep the ball on the ground, take it straight to them, say, hey, MIFA, you can stop us? Go ahead and try. We're just going to keep on grinding it towards you here late in the 4th quarter. Actually, 9:20 left to go in the 4th quarter.
Another couple big stops here. That's what MIFA needs. 3rd down and short. Gorska trying to get him draw off sides, nothing going. There's a snap, calls her own number, straight up the gut for a first down. Keeps the clock moving, keeps the chains going, and more importantly, she's inside the 10-yard line of the opposing team.
Quick quarterback sneak there as she took it, got an additional yards. Clock keeps turning. Closer to that goal line.
Boy, oh boy, I tell you, that is
inside that red zone, inside the 10-yard line.
Watching the clock tick down, and that would really put a dagger in here. They put points on the board at this point, make it a 2-score ball game here with time running down here. Timeout called by MIFA. And with that timeout, go fill your favorite cup up, your beverage, come on back, and we'll be right back to finish up this game on Go Live Sportscast.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
How prepared is your family if a tornado shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a hurricane? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
Let's go.
you'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza.
Make a plan today.
Welcome back to the action here. Go Live Sportscast. 8:19 left here. Prowl with the ball and threatening. First down. New set of downs at the 10-yard line. Up 8-0. There's the handoff. Sermile takes a look, bounces it to the outside, back to the inside. And Met there gets about 3.5 on that. Second down. Just at the 7-yard line, it looks like, of MIFA.
Well, they went to the left side on the offensive line. Didn't get enough there. Wanted to get more, a little juke out there, but just couldn't break it. Still inside the 10, down to the, looks like about the 7th-yard line, 6-yard line, 7-yard line. Red zone, 7-yard line.
So who comes into the game? Sermile comes out. Patman back in. I wonder where this ball's going. Let's see if it's, Gorsica calls her own number. We'll find out in a minute. Gorsica does call her own number. Curls inside the 5 to the 3 and down.
Quick bootleg in the inside. Kept it low just behind the offensive line. Didn't get much there, but moved it forward. So it looks like it's down to the third line.
Third down here. Short to go. They hurry up to the line. There's Patman off the left side. Patman struts into the end zone. Patman touchdown.
Well, that stretched it out. She went to the left of the offensive line. Prowl fans going crazy as they add another 6 to the board, making it 14-0 right now.
Boy, big touchdown. Big part of the game, the way it's going. That could be considered. It could be considered right there, the polyurethane. The
After
finish.
the shellacking,
the finish.
High gloss.
That could be it. But, hey, anything could be done. It looks like they're going for the 2-point conversion.
They want to spread this to a 16-0 game, make MIFA have some miracles to get back into this game.
MIFA will be miffed, that's for sure. So Gorska went in her last time. She hands it off to Patman. Patman does a stutter step around. Stiff arm rolls. Or that's Edwards maybe inside the.
No.
Is that Edwards? 28? Kretinen? Kretinen, yeah. Sorry, folks. Sorry about that. I was blocked by the standing crowd in a beautiful.
What?
Yeah.
So that keeps it 14-0. 6:58 left to go here in the fourth quarter. They tried to stretch the 16 there, Tommy. Just couldn't punch that one in.
A great individual effort almost. She almost popped it in there, kept the legs rolling, but just fell a little short. So with it being 14-0, MIFA's going to get this ball on the kickoff, and they've got to do something quickly. I mean, down 14-0. It's almost 8 quarters that they haven't scored anything against this Detroit team. And their ground game has been okay when they've had the ball, but we really hadn't seen too much from the passing attack, and they're going to have to really let that arm of Vezes fly, and we'll see what's happening. A good kick here. Down bounces at the 30. It's corralled there. McDonald stutter step. McDonald almost tripped. She's going far right. Met there. Shakes a tackle over to 30. 35. Meets a couple of defenders at the 40, and finally down at the 41-yard line.
Well, she started on that kickoff going east and west instead of north and south. Just couldn't turn that corner, and MIFA's going to start in their end at about the 41-yard line.
So I'm sure they're going to have to go the little hurry-up offense here. 6:42 left to go here in the game. Down by 2 scores, 14 points, if you will. And we'll find out here in a moment, Frank.
I mean, in all actuality, they have to go to their passing game. That's, no way that they can't gain that many yards unless they open up some huge holes. I mean, craters from the monster. So, quick handoff. Nothing there. Stuffed at the line of scrimmage. And MIFA's got to come up with some Houdini here with 6:25 to go here in this game.
So no gain on that last play, as Frank mentioned. 2nd down and 10, and not getting any easier here. Well, they're moving the stick, so.
Well, it looks like there was a 5-yard penalty on the Prowl, and that moved it up to about the 45-yard line of MIFA.
Yeah, repeat 1st down. So still now 1st and 5. And MIFA lines up, single back, handoff, and met in the backfield. She is, Castillo, and drugged down for a loss on a beautiful play. Great penetration off that right side for the Prowl.
She was stuffed like an olive there, and MIFA loses yards there on their ground game. Still going to the ground here late in the 4th quarter, down by 14.
So the combination of
right now, Detroit is pumped up. Their defensive front line is just bring it on. They want it right now. They're feeling the W here late in the 4th quarter, 5 minutes and 23 seconds left to go.
And with that run gain, every run, the clock keeps ticking. Vez under center. Vez looking around. 2 wide, there's a fake. Here's a handoff to McDonald. She's forced way around the outside. She gains more, about 5, and a big hit there at the 46, 47-yard line. And
under 5 minutes to go, still handing that ball off on some wide sweeps here going to the outside. Late developing plays by MIFA, and they're getting shut down by Detroit right now.
Boy, she only gained 3 yards on that, and again, she was forced way wide, and it was a 15-yard run to gain 3. Longer than that if you go take the width of the field, Frank?
Now, if you had it in the east and west yards, that was like 30 yards.
Defensive substitution that's late for the Prowl. Are they going to get off the field? Yes, they do. Shotgun Vez. Vez looking around. She drops back, being pressured, steps up, nowhere to go, bounces back into the inside. She's just going to determine to run. She gains some yards, does a little S move, and then 1st down at the 44-yard line of the Prowl.
Well, some moves there right now. She was looking to throw that ball and pass it. Couldn't get it out in the air and had to run it. Finally gained some yardage to get them a 1st down. MIFA in Detroit territory.
Natasha Charles comes in. The big back. McDonald goes off. Vez looking to the sidelines. The call's coming in late from the bench. They're still looking around. Time ticking down. Precious seconds for MIFA, who are down by 2 scores here. Shotgun Vez. Single slot wide receiver. Vez drops back, looking to the right. She only has someone to the left. No one there. Prowl converge. Vez has to run. She pulls it down and gains about 4.5 down to the 40.
Good defense by Detroit again. They had everybody covered. She was looking to air that ball out. Nobody was open. And the MIFA team had nothing to do but try to run that out. No big gains by MIFA.
And here we go again. Another long developing play. The play coming in slow from the MIFA bench. Another 30 seconds is ticking down. And they can't afford how long that this is taking. 2:30 left here to go in the game. Still no play. They haven't even lined up yet. And here they finally come. There's no hurry. It doesn't look like there's any urgency on MIFA's part. Vasquez switches her back to the left of her. Vez still waits. 2:15 on the clock. Finally gets the ball. Looks to the right and is met there. A sack and a big one.
So on second down, looking to throw that ball again, Detroit just got back into that backfield and got the big S there, a sack. Clock at the 2-minute mark here, 2-minute warning. Right now, Detroit pretty much has this game in their hands.
Atkins bounced off that defender, blocked and stuffed Vez.
Stuff like a green pepper there as the Vitale's going to, Coach V is talking to his team. He says, you got to have a victory for me. I want to eat pasta tonight.
You know, and speaking of pasta and green peppers and pizza, there's a fantastic restaurant in Trenton, Michigan, Frank.
There you go. Been there since 1953. Dell's Pizza, if you ever go into downtown Trenton. Family owned since 1953. Old school pizza.
And we'll have to see if we can get a...
Maybe I'll bring a pie next week.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, fantastic.
If I don't forget.
Shout out to Dell's. That's right.
We're not far here. Right off, we're at the Allen Park High School here. Did several of the Allen Park High School football team games here in the past. It's been quite a while to be back at this nice field and press box. It's good to have a good
love the train in the background back here. Great backdrop where, you know, you've got the CNN rail coming back behind the stands, or the GT train and behind the stands here at the stadium, and it's just a great backdrop. And here we go. Vez with the ball, drops back again, pressure everywhere, lobs it up and over the head of the outstretched hands of a receiver, and that'll be...
Bring it to third down. So MIFA now trying to turn late in this game to their passing game when they should have been mixing it up in their earlier part of their game just to throw Detroit Prowl off, or tried at least. But nothing is connecting for MIFA here late. 1:54 left to go here in the fourth quarter, and Detroit is sniffing everything out.
So we got third down and short. Couple big plays coming up. 1:54. It's a third down 11. I can't see where the other stick is. Vez back, looking, pressured, grabbed, nothing going on, fumble, and that was it. Beautiful grab right out of the hands of Vez. And
so a turnover there. Didn't even hit the ground. I didn't see the ball hit the ground. She just swiped her, mugged her right on the street, took that ball, and Detroit has this game in their hands and ready to put the chokehold on them. MIFA might have to tap out here late in the game.
Boy, oh boy, that's something else. You know, you have on you talk about offensive, defensive players. You have Patman with a touchdown and an interception. You've got Stromile, offensive juggernaut, running the ball, and then makes a great defensive play there to seal the victory here.
She just crop dusted her right there along the far sidelines and put this game out of reach. Detroit with the turnover. Second turnover of the game that Detroit, that first turnover was that interception late in the first half. And this one could seal the game with 1:47 left to go.
So for all intents and purposes, if the score remains the same with the little time left on the clock, we got Detroit now at 2-2, back in the mix.
Back in the mix and thinking about the next game, one game at a time. Vitale's going to have to clean things up here. Like I said earlier, they're going to have to play a A-plus game in order to win. Sometimes you see somebody so big and so good, in order for you to win, you got to be on top of your game, and they have to be under their game. So, again, this is a home game next week here for Detroit Prowl. Like to see you out here in Allen Park. That's May 10th against the Lansing Legacy.
And another great few, while we have time here, mention to the great staff, production staff, Go Live Sportscast. Thanks for all the hard work. Dean, everybody in the booth and the production, and even the people that are up here in the booth keeping score, and a lot of these people are doing it for the love of the game, and they're asked of it. And you see the good production, the attendance that's here, the excitement for American women's professional football, and just a good all-around turnout here in Detroit for their home opener. And as Frank mentioned, we hope you join us here at Mark Eglin Field here in Allen Park later. Come on out, bring the kids. It's a great family atmosphere. A lot of things for the kids to do. Pick up some merch. They have good momentum going here, and it'll be just an all-around affordable evening here on a Saturday evening in Michigan. So hope to see you out here. If you can't catch it, you'll be able to watch it live on Go Live Sportscast. Same time, same place next week, and we'd love to have you and see you out here and say hello to everybody in the press box. And
so it looks like they took the MIFA player off the field. She was helped off the field. Hopefully she'll be all right. Detroit takes over in downs right now. Got right at the 45-yard line on MIFA.
So we'll see if Coach decides if he's just going to keep running with the offense to, get some more plays in, get some more continuity, or if he's just going to play by the gentleman rule, everything keep it on the ground for the next, minute 47 here, let that clock run out.
Well, I'm sure Coach V is very conservative at this point, going to want to run that clock out. Big 62 coming in on that offensive line as Detroit set for their play.
Late change, get everybody in the game. Gorska right, she's going to throw it. She's looking long, open, caught, 5, 4. I'm sorry, inside. That was, my eyes are bad. Just outside the 10-yard line, but that was a beautiful play.
Well, I called that one absolutely wrong. I thought he was going to go conservative, and he went big that time. Coach Vitale throwing it, airing it out here late in the fourth quarter, trying to get some more points here and really bury it.
So Chenal with that long bomb from Gorsica on that beautiful play. Wide open. You saw the power of Gorsica's arm. Good 35-yard throw there. Inside. Stromile. Am I calling the wrong number again here? Or is that Edwards? 28, Edwards.
So it looks like we've got a timeout here with about 44 seconds left. Detroit threatening to capitalize on some more points here with a game in hand by Detroit. Looks like Detroit's going to even up their record at 500, 2-2, as you said earlier, and move on to next week. Look to have a little bit better weather next week. Tommy, I don't know, what they're calling for a week from today, but they like some perfect conditions, like no wind, and it's good that it didn't rain. That would have really put a damper on this game, but started off real windy, and the ball was not a good day to throw it much. So we haven't seen Detroit at the top of their offensive game, and see if they throw a lot more passing in a regular environment, less wind.
So 44 seconds left to go in this contest. The Prowl just inside the 10-yard line. And Gorsica back, pressured, shakes the tackle, but can't just shake it enough and takes that knee down back at the 17-yard line. So
that stopped the clock. I don't know if there was. The officials discuss things right now. Consider it a sack on that one.
So as they try to sort out the last few seconds here, the last few formation, looking for. I didn't see any flags on the play. There is a illegal subs. Yeah. Declined. There we go. So the penalty was declined against the Prowl.
So the last game they played was 17-0. It's 14-0 right now. Detroit has an opportunity to kick a field goal, make it 17-0 again.
Yeah, someone called a timeout on the play here. So I don't know if it's a game between these coaches or what they're trying to do out here. Maybe send a message. I know we did hear something prior about that a couple times. I mean, you know, some of these coaches sometimes, right? They do this, you know.
Yeah, it could go down in 1 second and somebody would call a timeout. I don't know if you'd call it an official rivalry or what, but.
And it could come down to the tiebreakers. You know, I mean, they may be going points for, differential. So, you know, every score can make a difference. So maybe if you do want to play with sportsmanship, you would consider playing with sportsmanship, but you need points, and it could make a difference between a win and loss or a playoff spot. You know, the idea is just play till the end of the score, and if you got the opportunity to score, you put the points up.
Well, here we go again on third down with 38 seconds left to go.
Gorska looking around, trying to get for last-minute instructions. I formation. Little shift in defense from MIFA. They drop back, but here's Patman. Patman shakes off a tackle, drags the defenders with her, and all the way down to the 6-yard line, maybe 7-yard line.
Coach Vitale just called a timeout with 28 seconds left to go. They've got the first down on that one, I think, didn't they? Or
no, they have to
fall
get
short.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fourth down. Looks like they going to have to either go for it or kick a field goal or attempt to kick a field goal. That was Detroit calling that timeout. So, according to the injury report, the kicker is injured, so maybe they'll just go for it here on fourth down. 28 seconds left, 14-0. This will be 4 quarters, actually 8 quarters that MIFA has not scored on Detroit.
That would be a very
now,
good stat for
do you credit the Prowl defense or say MIFA has some offense problems or a combination?
I'd say definitely the combination. I would put it more on the Prowl defense. I think that they have come up stellar when they needed to be stellar. They've made some big stops, some sacks, some turnovers. So they may just their defense may be stepping it up. Handoff. Stuffed inside the 4. I'm not far enough for a first down. And we'll go to fourth down here.
Clock stopped at 27 seconds.
As I can't see
the
kid's
got looks like we got 2 MIFA players down. Another penalty against Detroit. If we get that official count on penalties, we got to be Detroit Prowl's got to be about 15 penalties, I would have to say, today, between 12 and 15 called against Detroit today.
So hey, happy birthday out there, by the way, to Joshua Morris yesterday and Samantha Morris, turning 25 and 26 respectively.
Same day?
For one day a year, they're 300. That they're same for one day. They're the same birth, same
exact
age.
Same birthday.
Yeah. They were born 364 days apart.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
You're a gambling man.
I must have been. Hey, I won the jackpot with those kids.
Did you place a bet before
I
that
won
happened?
I won the jackpot with those kids. That's all I got.
Well, that's good.
But
you couldn't do that if you tried.
No, I could. No, I wonder what the odds in Vegas of that would be. So here we go. Could be the final play of the game here. 27 seconds left, and they're still trying to get the formations right. And now we have they just ran it. So that is it. Your final. The ref said we had enough. The final here from Mark Eglin Field is 14. Detroit Prowl 14. The MIFA All-Stars 0.
So a big W for Detroit, getting back into it, going back to 500, 2-2 now. Taking on Lansing next week.
And again, we'd like to have you come out again 5-10. That's next week, this Saturday, May 10th, against the Lansing Legacy here on Go Live Sportscast.
Tommy, it wasn't pretty, but they got the job done here. MIFA coming in town, and they took it 14-0. A lot of penalties by Detroit, but they did enough to win this game.
Everything improves. The first broadcast, overall success here from the home team, Detroit Prowl, and looking forward to next week, Frank.
Absolutely. So we'll see you next week. I'm wrapping this one up here. I am Frank Mazzillo along with Tommy Morris from Allen Park, and Detroit Prowl with a 14-0 win over MIFA, saying so long, and we'll talk to you next week.